Hey, good morning, it's Owen, Bigland. This is the Inside Edge video blog. Wanted to give you an update on the current market situation as far as inventory levels go and talk to some people out there that are contemplating selling their home in 2016. So the update I did last in December, I had told you that we are in uncharted territory as far as inventory goes. Homes that are currently available for sale. I can tell you that it's now mid-January, late January now, and inventory levels have been squeezed even more. This is uncharted territory, as I say. I talked to realtors that have been in the business 35, 40 years, and none of them have seen this type of situation. There are very few homes on the market right now. I gave you an example. My brokerage, MACDONALD Westmar, is one of the biggest in the Lower Mainland. We've got well over 250 realtors in our office. As our brokerage goes, that's a snapshot of the entire Lower Mainland market. Generally, we average in our office anywhere from 500, 550. We've been up close to 700 listings, I can remember, back in 2012 in my office. As of today, I looked at our inventory levels. We're sitting at 120 homes for sale in my office. So we're at less than probably 25% of what the normal inventory level should be. It's crazy. Now, coming up here in February 8th, we're going to have Chinese New Year. And as a lot of people know, we tend to get a spike in sales activity during Chinese New Year. I talked to one of my fellow realtors, a Chinese realtor in my office the other day, and he was telling me that a lot of people come from mainland China, from Hong Kong to Vancouver for Chinese New Year, stay a couple of weeks, and have a look at some real estate. They come over because they want to escape all the hoopla and the celebrations that it is in China. It's a little more quiet and low key here. But it was funny, he was telling me it's kind of like traipsing across the desert on your camel to the canteen or the well at the other end and getting there and we're out of water. And these Chinese buyers are coming over here and unfortunately we don't have much to sell them. So now if you're thinking about maybe contemplating selling your home in 2016, now sellers, there's two types of sellers. There's a good reason to sell and a reason where I tell people to maybe reconsider. Lots of good reasons to sell. You're looking to downsize. You're selling your home and you want to downsize into a condo or a townhome. Maybe you're going to upsize. Your current place is too small. You want to sell it and buy a bigger unit or a bigger house. Maybe you're retiring and moving to Victoria or Kelowna or out of province. Maybe it's a separation or a divorce, one of the unfortunate things I have to deal with in my business. But those are reasons that you may want to have to sell, and you've been thinking about selling this year, 2016. Reasons that I try and discourage people from doing is, hey, I want to sell, the market's at peak price, I'm going to sell, wait on the sidelines for a couple years and then buy back in when the market corrects. Well, the market will correct, but we just don't know how much further it's going to go up from here before we get a correction and what type of correction that's going to be. So, as you know, for the last 5 years, I've pounded into people, have an investor mindset, a long-term hold, as opposed to trying speculating and getting in and out. Now, if you do have one of those good reasons that you were contemplating selling, I might advise that you have a serious contemplate putting your home on the market sooner rather than later. Put it on the market in the next 3, 4, 5 weeks, and because there's no competition out there, and that's the time to do it. Now, we may. Generally in the spring, around March, April, we tend to get a bit of a spike in listings. That's our busiest time in Vancouver real estate, is the spring market. I don't know what it's going to look like here. It comes springtime. It's going to pretty much tell how the market, I think, is going to go for 2016. But even if we do we should get a bit of a rise in inventory levels here come springtime. But we are so low right now that I don't even think it's going to make a difference on it. We're already running at 50 to 70% below what we normally would be. So this spring market will tell a bit of a story. But if you're thinking about selling in 2016, I would suggest, hey, put it on the market sooner or later. The other thing I'm going to suggest, though, and I still see this playing out on the MLS, is I'm seeing homes selling with 1 day, 2 day, 3 days on market. Sure, they're selling at full ask or even a little bit more. But I think if you've sold your house in this white-hot market where there are far more buyers than sellers and no competition out there, very little inventory, if you've sold your home with 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 days on market, I'm pretty confident that you have left a fairly good piece of money on the table in your final selling price, for the simple reason that you just haven't exposed it to enough buyers to create a bigger multiple offer situation. And this is why you should take the advice of every major financial magazine, Forbes magazine, Fortune, Forbes. All of them suggest that when it comes time to list your home, the biggest asset you own, you should interview at least 2 or 3 realtors for the job. And everyone's got a friend in real estate. They've got their Uncle Jack, who might work out in Coquitlam, and you're selling an East Van home, doesn't really know the neighborhood. You got your buddy on your beer league hockey team who's been a realtor for a couple of years. You don't want to ruffle their feathers, but it is the biggest asset you own. I would strongly suggest that you take the advice of these publications and interview 2 to 3 realtors for the job. When somebody calls me, probably half the time they call me and they want to hire me for the job. The other half of the time I'm in competition. I'm going to be one of 2 or 3 realtors that are going to interview. My listing presentation takes 20 minutes. I'm going to introduce myself. I'm going to go through my marketing program on how I create interest, how I get people's eyes on your house and get them to come through and look at it. A lot of things I've got exclusive to myself and to my brokerage. For instance, we've got an exclusive arrangement with the Vancouver Sun, the Friday home section. We can get your house in there. I'm going to give you my marketing strategy. I'm also going to show you some recent sales that I've had in the neighborhood and the new price marks that I'm setting, and that's important. You want a realtor that knows the area, has a lot of experience in selling homes, and let the numbers speak for themselves. 20 minutes, thanks for your time. You interview the other realtors. Let me know who you want to go with. Simple as that. I suggest everyone do that. It is, again, the largest asset you're going to sell. I'm seeing money left on the table here, left and right. And I'm sure some of these people think, well, gee, we did pretty good. We got $25,000 over asking and we sold it in 2 days. Well, I think if you would have done it properly, listed it, exposed it for at least 7 or 8 days, run a couple open houses at the end, and then taken offers the following week, there's a good chance you could have gotten another $40,000 or $50,000, but you'll never know unless you get that proper time frame there of the 7 to 10 days to get it exposed. Because in this market, it's all about exposure. It's all about creating multiple offers. It's just the way the market is. If this was 2012, we wouldn't be doing these holdbacks. 2012, you listed a house, priced it, right, and slowly waited for people to show it and maybe get an offer on it. This market now, it's white hot. You list it, make sure there's other things that you can do to make the house show better, staging it, cleaning it up. That's all things that I go through with my clients to get it market ready. Expose the property for at least 7 to 10 days. Get interest in the property, advertise it, flyer it, get it in the Vancouver Sun, get it in the Real Estate Weekly. Get a good 7 to 10 days to get everyone through the home, gather up all the offers, and then look at them the following week. And that's where crazy things can start to happen with the selling prices. And before I get anyone that puts some nasty comment on my YouTube blog saying, you're a typical realtor, you're driving up the prices. Listen, I don't work for you. That's something that people need to understand. I've got a fiduciary duty to my sellers. That's my bread and butter. I work for sellers, and it's my only goal is to get them the maximum amount of money for their home and do it in a legally binding manner, write a legally binding contract to get it sold. Those are my 2 priorities. I don't work for the buyer. So I'm going to create a festival-like atmosphere around this house to get as many offers as I can and get bidding wars to pump that price up. That's what this market is all about. You would want that too if you were selling your home and bought it 20 years ago and paid that mortgage for 20 years and kept the house up and put the new furnace in and the new roof and maintained it. You'd want every penny out of that house at the end as well, and it's tax-free dollars. So that's what you need to do in this market. Finally, as I say, if you're thinking about selling in 2016 and you've got a good reason to sell for all those reasons I listed, you may want to think about getting it out in February as opposed to waiting until later this spring. Although, again, I don't think we're going to see any massive spike in listings here. Even we should get an increase, but it's so low now that I still think this market's going to continue to roll. There's far more buyers than there are sellers. I'm Owen Bigland. hope you learned something. You can always reach me at owen@owenbigland.com or go to my website, Owen Bigland. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.